Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Happy holiday weekend to you. Happy Labor Day to those of you who are part of that or in the States here. What we're looking at, of course, is just a quick update on fetch.ai. I got a lot of requests on this coin just based on simple potential bottom here. It's actually performing pretty well with a bullish back test of a descending trend line. So what is it? Let me see here really quick. Who asked this? Hunk144. Thank you so much again for the request. Just trying to get through our requests here today too, so I appreciate your patience, everyone. Let's take a look here, kind of see what's going on. We usually like to start with the backend data first and kind of see if there's any type of liquidation data that might help us get a leg up on this coin, right? Because again, heavy concentrations of liquidation can tell us a few things. First things first, heavy liquidation tells us that there's incentive for the price to go to that to that side, based on the fact that whales just like to destroy liquidation levels. But there's also an inverse as well, where you can kind of understand that more people taking long positions, there's more confidence in the price going up, and that might be the bottom. Okay, so we're going to look at that too. So here we go. Quickly to note, right there at about 101 to 104, I'm rounding up a little bit, but we're looking at about $500 million in liquidation, just that area alone. We add it all together, probably closer to about 2 to 3 billion in liquidation, kind of averaged out between 90 cents and 105. We kind of zoom out a little bit, we can kind of see as well, there's heavier concentration at about 70 cents. I think the likelihood of that's pretty low, but just know that 90 to 105 is a potential likelihood. And we just put that on the charts to give you a quick perspective. 90 is this local support level. Big surprise, there's a lot of, that's kind of like the bottom, if you will, of that liquidation area. And then 105 is upwards of here. So this is the area that we're going to understand that could be a sweep to that direction. You got to recognize though too, from the macro perspective here as well, from the daily, if we look at this, we are bullishly backtesting this descending trend line. That's commonly a very bullish sign. So that very well could mean that we're getting closer to our bottom. But we don't want to, err on this, or we do want to err on the side of caution. We don't want to get too presumptuous, because situations like this will oftentimes give us false positives, especially on a weekend. And this weekend being a holiday weekend, it's notorious for the price to sell off on the holiday and for the weekend to be very low volume. So just know that it exists, and I wouldn't expect monumental things here today. This weekend just seems pretty drab. There's not much going on. So let's quickly note a couple things here. First of all, let's go ahead and look at the moving averages and see where we're at. We're over the 50. That's a super solid support level. We can also see here the local low, based on a daily candlestick closure, is effectively our new low here from yesterday. Okay, so the price basically opened and closed above $1.11 yesterday, and that's a previous area we've seen a lot of support. Okay, so that's a good sign. We like to see that, and it's running concurrent with the 50-day SMA. 20 is running parallel with that. So what we can do is draw out a trend line too, and see that there is a ascending trend line here forming. Okay, that's a good sign. So those are mostly positive. Again, not trying to get super excited or whatever, but those are great signs, right? We take a look here at the RSI. Unlike many coins, we are above 50 on the RSI still, where most, Solana, Bitcoin, a lot of really strong coins, quote unquote, are essentially breaking bearish, where we don't see that here yet. We also see the stochastics trying to swing up, money flow index plateauing, MACD's kind of also losing its divergence. Those are very positive signs, okay? So again, bearish market, yes. Is fetch.ai bullish? Tentatively, yes. I would say very much tentative. Let's double check though. 4-hour time frame. Let's quickly understand a couple of things here. So first of all, this is a key level support. Let's go ahead and highlight that in yellow, and then understand that this is we're honoring this ascending trend line on both 4-hour and the daily. As far as the 20-day SMA is concerned, that gives us more strength. We can see here as well, we've got a MACD convergence, which again isn't super strong. That's pretty decent considering how far down the price had pulled back. And we look at RSI, we're kind of rejecting out at 50 here. So just know there's somewhat of a resistance range at about 120, and there's a likelihood the price action may not continue too much higher at this exact moment. But hypothetically, with stochastic kind of topping out, we're looking at somewhat of a pullback likely before the next leg up. So we could very well see, and this is common, for the price to come back down to that support range at about 110 to 115 and potentially bounce from there. Okay, but no matter how you look at it, these are fairly decent signs. We're just under the 50-day SMA, kind of testing the 20 right now, and that's generally unfavorable. So it tells us the 4-hour time frame hasn't broken bullish yet, but honestly, this ascending trend line, these are like the more important things to recognize when it comes to manipulated markets. trend lines are things you want to kind of respect and ensure that you take into consideration. They're probably the largest priority you could find here when you get so many false positives, which is what we're seeing a lot in the market right now. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud here on the hourly, we can confirm that we're soon to break free from the cloud, which is great. Lagging span is kind of free and clear of the price action, not phenomenal, but the conversion line has been above the baseline. So we got like 2 reasons out of 3 to consider more so leaning towards a long position versus a short. Now, a lot of this hinges on if Bitcoin is going to pull back or not. You got to respect the fact that Bitcoin hasn't broken free from its descending trend yet, and it could continue lower. But if you look at Bitcoin's behavior and you compare it with this coin here, Fetch.ai is doing a magnificent job maintaining its range and not going super low. So all that combined, and we look at the liquidation here, I would say worst case scenario, we see a sweep of this $1 mark and the price recovers from there, or we don't even look back and the price continues higher, because right now we're confirming that we're in pretty good shape overall. But just know, you wait till we get down to the 110, or sorry, the 1 to 105 range, that's about 10 to 15% away. So that may never happen, but if the descending trend continues for Bitcoin, we might see that as well. So it's hard to want to, give a recommendation for a long this weekend, but if I were to ever give one, this coin has the most potential for success based on everything I've seen here so far. I probably looked at glanced at about 10 to 15 coins today, and it's definitely an outlier. So again, statistically, this coin has more likelihood to go up than down. However, the rest of the market has more likelihood of going down than up. So I don't know. How do you want to operate that? It's up to you. Just be careful if you do. If I consider a long position with this coin myself personally, I would ensure that my take profit targets are tighter, and I would make sure I secure profits before we get to our local high here of 125. I think somewhere in the range of 120 to 122 would be an appropriate area to consider profit. Okay. Again, you can't get too greedy in this market, especially on a weekend. It's kind of a really, really strange thing. But either way you look at it, I'm going to keep this coin on my watch list to make sure that we're going to pay attention and potentially consider a trade here soon with this one. All right, folks, thanks again so much for watching. Hope you learned something today. Comment below if you get a chance. Don't forget to like the video, and thanks again for the request, Hunk. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.